That brings me to my next chapter which is called try. So as you guys know, there's a lot of pizza 4Ps now. There's I think 35 in all over the country. There's one in Cambodia. So we're scaling. We're getting bigger. Everything's becoming like almost like a formula. Like we're sort of very easily now mobilized to open new restaurants. And I think what some of you who are in the room maybe know 4Ps from like the early days when there was only a few restaurants. It was a little more creative, a little more exciting. It had this kind of mysterious side of the experience. And so what we want to do, especially when we scale, is we want to keep that kind of innovative side. We want to keep, while we sort of perfect our operational, yeah, there's a cat in there, right? Yeah. While we sort of perfect operation, we also want to trying new stuff, keep trying new dishes, new products, new experiences, and so on. That allows us to stay innovative and allows us to kind of keep that, I'm going to go next one. That allows us to sort of, it allows us to kind of just keep being fresh. So for example, like maybe you guys noticed, we're always introducing new dishes. Some of these even stick around, like our kale salad is a favorite. But not only is it about making new dishes, but also a lot of these dishes are coming from very carefully sourced suppliers that are sourcing, like sustainable and ethically grown ingredients. But it's that's also part of the idea is that we want to not only just make more food, but introduce our food concept. So here I have we call Earth to People. That's what we call our food concept. It sounds a little funny, a little kind of dreamy, but basically it's our version of what people typically call farm to table. The reason why we sort of found our own words was farm to table is a beautiful concept. I think for us, we want to also bring out not only ingredients, but also connection to people, connection to the grower or the supplier or whoever's involved. You can find that in our menu. So our relatively new menu book, which is of course not new anymore, but inside there you'll have a lot of added info, not just food and prices, but also information about our farm-to-table practices and other kind of interviews and profiles about our suppliers. Another thing we really love doing at 4Ps is beer. We love beer. So much that we've even taken it to packaging. We have a lot of fun with packaging and labels and branding for our beer and alcohol products. We also have fun with happy hour promotion. Again, you kind of get a sense. The kind of beer and alcohol concept is something we really push. We really love. And even soon, you'll be able to buy our beer glass from the restaurant on the shelf. We're very excited about that. We also take time to innovate with material. So in this case, on that left side, you'll see that's one of our restaurants in progress. So when they're being built, they're surrounded by this like rubber material that keeps in all the dust and dirt and so on. As you know, we open a lot of restaurants, which means we have a lot of that stuff. So we had some time. We worked with, I think, a supplier up in Da Nang who was making little tote bags for us, shopping bags for us, using that material. It's still in development. We'd like to launch that sometime this year, hopefully. But again, like one of again, kind of things were tested out. On the other end of the spectrum, our cheese. Probably most of you have seen our cheese, whether not just in the restaurant, but in the shop. It has kind of a stripped back look to it. We keep that very minimal on purpose. We love our cheese, but we don't love our packaging. Our packaging kind of, it looks great, but it's all plastic, a lot of waste. And currently we don't have solution yet to replace that. So while we're doing that, our cheese products will continue to have this kind of stripped back look to it. It does create a nice kind of iconic brand and helps our flagship brand kind of come out. But that's sort of where we're at with that. This is some data, and I promise this is the only slide you'll see with like a chart. I asked Ron, who's sitting over there, to try to give me some data to make me look smart. So I wanted to include that. This is just a year-by-year representation of our sales on retail. So you see over here 2019 and 2020, we're sort of flatlined. 2021 is a big spike, and I'll get to why. 2022, at the end of this year, we're about double where we were a couple years ago, and we're really happy about that. That's like, well, I am. So yeah, that's that. But maybe you're wondering, why did we have this giant spike in 2021 for retail? As many of you know, that was a tough year for everyone. It's when Ho Chi Minh City went into hard lockdown for about 6-7 months, which is also when we started making frozen pizza. So you might notice that's a very small looking pizza dough. Again, the pizzas are not pretty, but this is something we had to do at the time. Restaurants were closed, delivery was also closed, so basically we couldn't make anything unless it could be sold in a supermarket. So we had to sort of continue to make stuff so that we could survive. It also gave our staff, our partners, a chance to stay employed and stay busy and keep getting paid. So it was something we sort of had to make happen. But as you probably know, it's still around. So maybe you want to know why. Like, why are we still making these things? And I think it's hard to say. I think we have a commitment to kind of perfect it and to make it as good as we can. We're going to also try to update and improve our packaging and so on. But yeah, we sort of have a commitment to improve these products, because actually these type of things is something that we can start exporting. It can help us spread that piece even beyond our borders. Likewise, we have a current product now called ragu, which is basically like a ready-made concentrated beef sauce that you don't have to refrigerate. Ours has no preservatives, so it's slightly better than the typical product on the shelf, but we're pretty excited about that. Again, this is something that could be maybe introduced to Japan or other markets in Southeast Asia. We also have ice cream. Maybe you guys didn't know, but we have a new ice cream which we're testing out. So I've kind of gone through a lot of like the stuff we make. So again, that's the kind of things are adding up. We're starting to make a lot of stuff, and from that, all the more reason why we need something like this. This is a cover of our sustainability report. This is our sort of closest thing to, say, an annual report. Inside, we have a lot of, I think, 80-something pages of very detailed content and data related to our sustainable activities. That could be things like sourcing. Where does our food come from? And what is the percentage of that is coming from good suppliers, sustainable suppliers. Very detailed tracking of our waste usage. What are we doing with our waste, and so on. Or even specific information about some of the dishes that we launched in that year. So that's something we're going to try to do every year. It's still currently a printed booklet. But yeah, we're pretty happy with sharing all this information. We're not exactly thrilled. We know that 4Ps in general can be less wasteful and more responsible with our ingredients and our material. But this is sort of always pushing us to sort of just be better and to be and to share.